And I have started the recording. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your patience, and we will get started. Does anyone have any questions before we begin? Oh, I am having technical difficulty. I apologize. So what we are discussing this evening is going over the president's role, the president's responsibilities, and the president's resources. How many of you know what the president's main purpose is? Amber, can you raise your hand?
Gosh, it's a little unclear to me still, so that's why I didn't raise my hand. But to me, it seems like it's keeping like the long-term vision and helping everyone, do the tasks. You shouldn't actually be doing all the tasks yourself. But if anyone has more they'd like to add to that, I would love to hear.
That's great. Thank you, Amber. Mike, would you like to add to? Oh, Brandon, go ahead.
My understanding is that the president kind of guides the actual event or like the meeting, right? So they kind of get the ball rolling, introduce everybody, kind of
Yes,
control the lectern, and then end the actual meeting as well. Correct.
that is absolutely correct. You preside over the meeting. You preside over the executive meetings. And I wanted to ask you, how is it that you are keeping your meetings fun right now? Oh, I see that Mike has his hand up. Mike, go ahead. We can't hear you, Mike.
Okay, so you passed your lip reading test. Congratulations. Now, I would say the number one job of a president, one word, lead. So if as a president, I have a good slate of officers working with me, I have the easiest job in the club because everybody else is doing their job. And I get to get up in front of the group and open the meeting, turn it over to Toastmaster. I get up and look as pretty as I can. And life is good. I like the big bottle. All the awards but it's all those other officers. If they're all doing their job, us as presidents, we don't have to do a lot except hold meetings and check in with everybody and make sure everybody's going. We're all going in the same direction, hopefully in the right direction.
Very good. Thank you so much, Mike. That is true. You also set the tone for your club and you accept responsibility for your club.
Yep.
So Amber spoke to how you are leading with a vision, and your vision is the DCP goals. How many of you are familiar with the DCP goals?
Yep.
I see Mike shaking his head. Is anyone else familiar with that? Amanda?
If it's can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. From my understanding, the DCP is the Distinguished Club, and that's making sure you have people progress through your levels, you're retaining your members as well as getting new members, you're having your leadership go through their trainings. Is that correct?
Absolutely. That is correct. So you want to make sure that your your executives are trained, that you have your renewals in on time, that you have new members, and then you're tracking all of the education points. One of the challenges that some of the clubs have had is tracking the education points. And that's one of the reasons why it is so important to make sure that your members have new member orientation and they have support to go through pathways, because there's a pre-assessment and post-assessment that have to be completed before the level updates. But as a president, I want to encourage you, make sure that you are, as you're setting the tone, be positive, be helpful, be you, speak from the heart, and provide resources. Who can tell me what one of the next steps are going to be for completing the DCP?
What do you mean?
So we're in TLI, that's step one, and renewals have just opened.
Right.
So now we want to make sure that our treasurer is working on the renewals and
Oh.
announce that at the meetings. As a president, you are also one of the base camp managers, which means you help make sure that Pathways is updated. You also stay on top of the club constitution, standard bylaws, international. The club president is the chief executive officer of the Toastmasters Club and is responsible for fulfilling the mission of the club. How many of you can tell me what the club mission is? Can you raise your hand? So the club mission is we provide supportive and positive learning experience, which members are empowered to develop communication leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth.
That's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mike. When it comes to the club meeting, you want to make sure that you are meeting with your VP in advance. You're making sure that there's an agenda, that all of the roles are filled. Scenario, I'm just going to throw it out there. You come to the meeting and there's an agenda, but 3 of the role players are not there. What is one thing that you could do? Joy? I don't know if you're speaking, Joy, but we can't hear you.
I just unmuted myself. There are 2 ways that you can do it. You can either pick up the role yourself, or you can ask the remaining members to see if they would like to take on the roles that were unfilled.
Awesome. Thank you so much for answering that. And those are the exact things that I was going to mention. What is something else that may come up during a meeting? Okay. I apologize. I'm flustered because my presentation didn't load. Can you give me a moment, please?
It's memory time. One thing the president might have to do when they show up is if your sergeant at arms doesn't show up, you might have to set up the room.
That's correct. You may have to set up the room. You manage the procedural matters.
Mhm.
What is the number one thing that you are thinking of and focusing on as the president? Rudy,
Yes.
what is the what is the number one thing you are focused on as the president of your club?
Keeping the agenda together.
Quality. Club quality is number one, and the agenda definitely helps add to the quality, correct?
Yeah, it does. But in the broad scheme of things, definitely quality matters.
Awesome. How do you take time to recognize achievements? Myra. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Aya?
You meant me to, yes. Hi, Dawn. How are you?
Good, how are you?
No problem. So we are all online meetings. So it's really difficult at times to do those recognitions. You know, we're like here, like in a meeting like we are right now. And so we celebrate every time. So somebody achieved a new level, somebody joined, or somebody just did something good. We're a very small group and we've been together for a while. So when somebody brings in a guest, it doesn't necessarily mean that the guest is going to join or will join, but it's always a celebration as we begin our meetings and during our meetings. Recognitions, it's been a lot more difficult. We used to before, when we were on site, we will buy little tokens and then have a meeting and invite like people's supervisors or other people, their guests, to celebrate with them. It's still online, we're still working out new ideas. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I believe that there are other clubs that are challenged by that. I would like to ask a show of hands, how many of you have had or are having in-person either meetings or events to connect with your members? Okay, so I see Amber, Tara, Amanda, James, Mike. Awesome. I think that is so important. It's hard to get back into the in-person. Not everyone's working in the office and there are different challenges, but I think that there's something that you glean from the in-person connection that just doesn't present itself as well when you are constantly online. You also want to make sure that you have the opportunity to empower your officers through delegation. And as Mike said earlier, it's important to have strong leadership. But it's also important to know if your executives aren't on target, you might just need to reach out to them and let them know, hey, how can I help you be successful? And see what they're lacking, see how you can guide them. I love what Myra said about recognizing longstanding members and celebrating every victory, whether it's just a presentation that someone struggled through or doing something new, taking on a new role, joining the contest and representing the club at the area and district levels. Those are just great opportunities to encourage your members to continue growing, to push past that uncomfortable feeling we grow when we push ourselves outside of our comfort zone. We want to lead and guide by example. We want to be able to answer those questions, the 5 questions: how, why, who, what, when, and where. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to make one more attempt to get back to something.
There we go.
Can everyone see the screen?
Looks good.
Yep.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay, so we have talked through some of these main items. Identifying club meeting. We did discuss briefly outside of the club meeting. So before the club meeting, we talked about having the agenda. We didn't talk about making sure that we arrive on time and greeting all of the guests, making sure that everything is set up. I believe Mike mentioned that if your sergeant in arms is not there, then that duty would fall on the next person. We did discuss the VPE, plan for the business portion of the meeting, the agenda, guest, we went through that. Call the meeting to order. This is part of the presiding portion of your job as a president. I did mention introducing the guests, explain the meeting's events. You want to conduct any business portion of the meeting. If you are welcoming new members, if you are, there's a new member orientation, there's an induction to welcome the new members, and other business that you can go through. For example, we know that we are a corporate club and we don't meet on holidays. So part of the business portion of our meeting would be notifying all of the members that we wouldn't be meeting. And if we're going through Robert's parliamentary process, that would mean that one of the members would make a motion, there would be a second, and then we would vote. You want to make sure that you provide information for the next meeting. And we did discuss announcements. I think it's really a great idea and opportunity if you take time to meet with your guests, ask them questions, ask them, what was your experience? What stood out to you? Is there anything that you think we should improve on? It's just a great opportunity to learn and grow from someone else's perspective. It's important to attend the council meetings, to attend and vote at the annual business meeting, appoint an audit committee, and appoint the nominating committee. I'm curious, Myra, I don't know if I can say your name correctly, Myra.
Go ahead.
What does your nominating committee look like?
Well, our nominating committee is we have this gentleman, one of our members, he's the VP of education. He is very well versed on the rules. And so he'll bring it up and then send an email to everybody, say, hey, guys, we're ready. And he has the list already prepared. Say, these are the different positions open. Please nominate someone. So we don't really have a committee. We're rather small. And, but we all have to go, we all go through it. I think it really sets the tone for thinking about it. Before that, we used to be very, how can I say, very informal. And so it was like, okay, you're ready, you're volunteer, you're voluntold. But now it's a more thoughtful process. And we hope that we keep growing it so other people can also see it. Because let me tell you one thing, our team, our club is at the city of Austin. And as an employee with the city of Austin, it actually matches a little bit of the government procedures that sometimes we see with council. So
Yes.
that actually helps some of our members to understand a little bit also of the council proceedings. We kind of have like a tiny process in place going through the nominating committee and following the rules. What do you call it? You call it something that I forget right now.
He said Robert's parliamentary process.
Exactly. So it is always a training for us. Every little thing that we do. We may not do everything specifically and detail, but we do strive for following some. And when we have somebody that has a lot of experience, it's really helpful. Somebody has been around for a while too.
Is great. And thank you so much for sharing that. I brought that up for a particular reason. Things are not working exactly the way they did previously before COVID. And we do something very similar. We present it in a meeting, we encourage nominations, and we send out an email with a form for individuals to complete to nominate others or themselves, and then we vote. So thank you for sharing that, Myra. Something else that we want to make sure that we follow up on are receiving the official correspondence from World Headquarters, from the District 55, schedule the executive meetings, and continue to work on developing and improving club leadership. Overseeing the club administration. Mike spoke to that, and we spoke to that when we reviewed some of the things that we can do to cover those shortages. We work together, and as we work together, we all grow and learn from that experience. We mentioned the achievements, advanced club member, and interact effectively with other organization levels. There's a great opportunity to do that by joining the district events such as this TLI, the contests, and other opportunities. I also know that District 55 has other training opportunities that are a great opportunity to follow up on. You could learn about things that will really help you. We discussed that. We did not discuss creating a club budget. I'm not sure if everyone has a budget to work with. Some of the clubs have not been charging membership fees during COVID, and some are just beginning to charge again. It's important to plan out your budget, to know, to be able to explain to the members the purpose of the budget, and then plan the events and things that you're going to use the budget for. We did discuss the club success plan minimally, but more importantly, we discussed the Distinguished Club program and how by setting those steps and looking at what your next steps are, the TLI, the membership renewal, the new membership, and then all of the education points, continuing to track that progress and encourage your members, not only to speak. A lot of clubs have members that are speaking consistently, but you have to update pathways for that to count for the club. We did discuss briefly the how, when, who, and what. How will you fulfill this responsibility? I would like to call on Brandon and ask, what is one of the ways that you plan on filling this responsibility?
I would say communication. That would be key with all the other executives, so the VP and Sergeant at Arms, the treasurer, making sure everybody's understanding of their role, and not only relying on them for assistance, but giving them any type of assistance is needed as well. So
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brandon.
Mm.
You hit that head on. When will each action be completed? We work on that through a consistent basis, and there are deadlines for the clubs. Who's available to help you? Even if you do not have all of your club executives available, reach out to the other members. And if someone has a skill in a certain area that you need help with, for the contest, for an event, for something else, reach out to them and ask them if they can help you. And you can use all of the materials and resources that you have available to you. Don't be afraid to ask for help. You can reach out to some of the other clubs. As a matter of fact, I would like to ask if we can share some information in the chat to share some contact information so that we can just encourage and spur one another on. We're all going through different challenges as presidents, and we all need support. I did share some additional resources with you before we began. And that concludes the presentation. I would like to ask at this time if there are questions, if there are particular questions that I can answer for you to help you be successful, or support tools that will help you get to the next level.
Yeah, I have one thing. So I'm trying to figure out how to manage people better. And my team, we have all these different responsibilities for each person, and we're doing stuff outside of Toastmasters as well, trying to have some workshops and like community service things. And so we have these short meetings that are only about 30 minutes long every week, because that's the only time we can all meet. And so in the meetings, I don't feel like there's enough time to talk about everything. And then outside of the meetings, sometimes I feel like it's hard to keep all on my head what everyone needs to do, because I know I need to follow up with the members throughout the week to make sure that they're completing the tasks they need to. And so I'm just wondering if anyone has come across any task management softwares or systems or ways that they kind of keep track in their head of what needs to be done.
Thank you so much for asking that, Amber. And I do want to open this up to anyone else who has suggestions. Using spreadsheets are really helpful. You can just break down the DCP points. But I'm going to be honest with you and tell you that I have kind of done away with that, and I just go straight to the DCP and I monitor that way. And then I just reach out to my VPE. How are we doing on this? Our club happens to also use EasySpeak, which is a program or a site that helps you manage and track your meetings. So that helps us keep track of who spoke, the roles that were filled, and some of the other logistics. It also has a pathway tracker. So as we're as we are entering the information to track the speeches, that gives us another place to verify the information that's in Pathways and work with our members on helping them update Pathways. Does that answer your question, Amber?
Yeah, that's really interesting. I'll have to look into Easy Speak, but I do like the idea of a spreadsheet to start.
Okay. I would be honored to help you get that started, and I have an idea to share with you.
Oh, thank you, Dawn.
Of course. Are there any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes, Amanda.
My team, we don't use Easy Speak. We have a separate dashboard that we use to create our agendas and to track our speeches. Is there anything on the International Toastmasters site that helps you track and see in real time where all of your members are in their speeches and on their pathways? The only way I know is to look at each person individually and then try to decipher, okay, this is where they are on this pathway. They're on level 2 on their innovative pathway. Is there an easier report to pull to gather that data?
So Amanda, the site that I referenced, Easy Speak and Free Toast Host, are sites that help with that information. The Toastmasters International does have a place where you can enter in, say, for example, the roles, but you would have to update the roles each meeting in Pathways as well as wherever else you track it. For the base camp, there is a section where you can go to reports and you can pull the progress to see all the pathway levels, where each member is. And as I said, it's so important to reach back out to them and just check in with them, because they may be completing speeches that perhaps they haven't gone through all the steps in Pathways, so it's not updating. You have to go, you have to complete the pre-assessment and the post-assessment, and then go all the way to the end where it tells you, congratulations, you've completed your project. That's the point, or the trigger rather, in Pathways that sends it to the next level.
Okay. I think it's the reporting piece we're having issues with pulling to see who's at what level. I was VP of Education last year, and so I had some experience pulling those reports, but I don't find them very intuitive or easy to read or understand. So I was looking for another alternative, but it's good to know that that's kind of where to go. And that other site you recommended, it was Easy Speak and Free Host?
Toast is another site, and I would be happy to send you some information to help you with your reports in Pathways.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We have a new person that joined us. Juan, do you have any questions as far as the president's role?
No, ma'am, I'm sorry I'm late. I couldn't join for some reason, but I just heard you say something about pathways and some guidance on pathways. I wouldn't mind some direction on that.
So we were just answering a question. One of the presidents is having issues with pulling reports from Pathways. What is your question in regards to Pathways?
Oh, no, it wasn't pulling reports. No, that's fine. It was just getting more familiar with it. So I haven't used it as much.
Okay. Pathways is really helpful. It does have step-by-step navigation. There are videos and tutorials that you can go through, and I would be more than happy to send that information to you. We did share our information in the chat just to give more support as far as presidents to be able to reach out to one another. I also want you to know that you can still get credit for the training if you view the video because we do have a video recording of this.
Okay.
And I would like like to ask if there are any other questions, anything else that I can do to support any of you in your president's role? Okay, I am going to, I don't know if we can just leave the room and go back to the main room. I think we can just click the leave room button and go back to the
I
other
think
room.
so.
Okay. Thank you,
Good
everyone.
job, Don.
Thank you,
I don't
Mike.
Thank
think I have a-
you.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you. Well, we're not the only ones that ended early. And what club are you a member of?
Who's that?
I'm asking you what club you are the president for.
Oh, I'm the president for River Talkers.
Okay. Is that an Austin club or a San Antonio club?
Oh, San Antonio. I'm sorry.
Okay. Awesome. Joy, which club are you the president of?
I'm the president for Randolph Toastmasters.
Oh, awesome.
All right. When do y'all
Last year,
meet, Joy? Oh, sorry.
go ahead, Juan.
No, I was just gonna ask, when do they meet in Randolph?
We meet on the first and third Wednesday at noon, but we just voted on at least once a quarter doing in-person or actually hybrid, that is, because some of our members would like to practice on their speeches in person. But that's going to start, I think, the first Wednesday of March.
Oh,
That's awesome, Joy.
Hey, Juan, check your
yes, sir.
chat.
Okay.
Check your chat.
How many of you are currently having in-person or hybrid meetings? I know that a lot are still fully online.
We're mostly in person, but we do have a hybrid also. as an
Awesome.
option.
Thank
My
you,
club,
James.
I'm over in Bernie. I'm the Hill Country Toastmaster president. Our meetings are 100% in person.
100% in person.
We don't offer a hybrid option.
And where does your club meet, Amanda?
I'm in Bernie. We're the Hill Country Toastmasters.
Okay. Nice. Well, congratulations on being 100% in person. That is awesome. That's an accomplishment. I just want to
Thank you.
cheer you on. Way to go for that. Do all of you have members that are going to participate in the upcoming contest, or do you have members who already participated in area contests that took place earlier this month?
I do. I have 2 members, one in each category. They placed second in I think it was that first level. They placed second there. So well, actually, they're not going forward because they are backups for other people, but they did place second.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, Amanda, on having
Thanks.
having participation from your club, having members step up and take that risk. That's a great opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions or suggestions that they want to share while we're waiting for the rest of the class to join us?
Yeah, I wasn't able to put my name in on the list for registration because I'm on my phone.
Which club are you with, James?
Arboretum Toastmasters. Actually, president and vice president of membership.
Can you say that again? I didn't quite catch the name.
Arboretum Toastmasters.
Oh, Arboretum. And you said president and what else?
VP membership.
And VPM.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
I think I was able to add my name and title there.
Were you able to add it in the spreadsheet?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. James, were you able to, did you receive the spreadsheet? Oh, you said you're on your phone. We can take care of that for you.
Thank you.
Of course. Have any of you been practicing or doing anything different with Pathways, checking on different things on the website? Are you planning on having like a large blowout 100-year event for your club just to celebrate 100 years of Toastmasters and just really engage your members to spur them on?
Good, I
It's
hadn't
New,
thought about that.
it's New Braunfels' 50th anniversary, club anniversary this year also. So we're having a big celebration sometime this summer. We haven't set a date yet.
That is awesome. I love the New Braunfels Club. I visited several times last year and I was very inspired by every meeting I attended. Congratulations on 50 years.
Well, thank you. We have some members, they hadn't been there since the beginning, but pretty close.
Wow, that is incredible. Thank you for sharing that. Was that Harvey that was speaking?
I was in Sergeant at Arms.
Oh, okay.
And we finished our breakout session because I lost my connection twice, and my computer decided it was going to hiccup twice. So I jumped on the meeting on my phone, and it seems like everybody knew the curriculum for Sergeant at Arms, so we're pretty good.
I had something similar happen when I taught Sergeant in Arms a couple of years ago. So way to go, Harvey, just pushing through. That's what Toastmasters is all about. Pushing through and just getting it done. So congratulations on that.
Yep. All right, so I'm going to mute myself so other people can continue talking.
Okay. Thank you, Harvey. Jackie, can I ask you what one of the takeaway points was from your training this evening? I don't know if you're speaking, but I think you're muted. Mark, were you also in Sergeant in Arms?
I was. Yes, I was.
Awesome. Did you glean something new from tonight's training?
I'll be honest and say no, but it was good to chat with. I mean, John was in there and we had a couple other folks and it was interesting to hear. We're a corporate club, so it was interesting to hear some of the I learned a little bit about PR more than Sergeant at Arms, but it was fun.
That's a good thing. And we always benefit from networking and learning and exploring different opportunities, different perspectives.
Right.
I'd like to open up the floor to see if there's anything else someone would like to share right now.
Okay, I'm sorry. My phone is really bugging out tonight. It keeps freezing. So anyway, this is Jackie, and you asked me, and I kind of just really butted in because I had to leave the meeting and come back in. Did you want me to answer a question?
I had asked if there was something new that you had taken away from this evening's training, or if something stood out to you.
No, I don't think so. There were 5 of us talking. We all kind of did the same thing. And yeah, no, I don't think so. I think we were all pretty much on the same page. We kind of did the same thing. We shared ideas from each of our clubs. So it was all good.
I can tell you the one thing I took away from tonight was perseverance, especially after losing my connection twice. But
that's
so
well, congratulations, Harvey, for pushing forward and keeping that perseverance and just seeing it through. Sometimes that's the best thing you can do, is just keep going. And you continue to learn as you persevere.
That's right. We do, don't we?
Yes.
That's what Toastmasters is all about.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that, Jackie. Joy, I see your hand is up.
Yes, I just had a question, just advice from everyone. Not just we are growing gradually for our club, but what I struggle is recruiting officers, like the person that's going to be replacing me. I mean, especially being in the military, we move a lot, and just how do you convince people like, hey, this is the right thing for the club, the volunteerism. How do you motivate people to say, hey, take on a role for the club? Just getting some advice from anybody.
You can always remind them that part of what Toastmasters is not just public speaking, but actually learning leadership. And that's core to what Toastmasters does. And then don't give them an option.
Awesome.
Joe, you might, if you have someone in mind that could take over for you, you might go to them in advance and say, hey, I'm looking to move out of whatever role I'm in. And I think you do a good job of doing that if you ever consider becoming the next president or sergeant at arms or whatever. Sometimes if you put it to them directly, they're more likely to volunteer. But in our club, we have the same 6 or 8 people that volunteer all the time because no one else will do it.
That's a great point, John. And you can really inspire someone, Joy, by speaking with them and telling them, look, I see a lot of potential in you, and I think that you would be great in this area. And that's a great way to build them up, and perhaps the encouragement that you give them would be enough for that nudge to get them to move forward.
Thank you so much for that. I have been talking to a few people. Oh, yes, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Did you mention your club has like a lot of turnover because it's a military?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And so I'm kind of in a similar boat because we're at the University of Texas. So people are always graduating and coming back in. And I'm kind of like dealing with the same challenge too. But one of the things we're trying to do is like let like students come to our exec meetings if they might want, like we have these members at large spots that we've created, and they don't have like the same responsibilities as the exec team, but they get to come to the exec meetings and kind of get to know the community there. And so that kind of helps them see if they want to maybe take a leadership role for the next year. And then I guess another thing we're trying to do is give people more like flexibility. So we have the standard roles of like sergeant at arms and VPE, but we say, hey, if you want to do something else, you can totally spearhead another project that looks really good on your resume and it's kind of fun. So like one example is we created um, this little video that we sent to middle school students about how to give a business pitch, and it was really fun, and I got to do the camera for it, and other people got to do other parts of directing and speaking. And so kind of giving people more creative freedom could be one thing that could attract people. But I'm also in the same boat because we're like, oh my gosh, our members are going to graduate, and how do we find enough people to take the spot and convince them to that it's something that's good to do?
Thank you, Amber and John. It is a challenge, especially for me. I know the president isn't supposed to be doing everything, but in reality, that's me, everything. And for continuity, I'm a little concerned, but I think I have a way ahead on just trying to having like mini training sessions and just starting to talk to people like what John was saying, just kind of like hone into somebody and convince them to, this is a good thing for you and for the club and, leadership. But thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Joy. And thank you for everyone that participated in encouraging her and giving her ideas. Hello, Eva.
Hey Don, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Doing great.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to the resources that you're going to share with us.
It should be fun. I'm going to go over the website and some of the updates.
All right. Hi, Ava. I see your bright and shining picture. In your can-do attitude. Everybody, we're not going to get going we've got a 10-minute break, so we're not really scheduled to be back on at 7 until 7:45. So if you want to take a little bit of time, please do.
Hey Chris, I'm going to switch devices. I just wanted to call in. I was heading back from dinner, so I'm going to switch devices to my laptop. I just wanted to make sure that we were still on schedule before I did that.
Okay.
Also, Chris, while I was in the breakout session with Sergeant at Arms, my computer lost its connection not once but twice, and so I had to switch to my iPhone.
Okay. Good old technology.
Perseverance.
Technology woes. I'm telling you what.
Oh, wow. And everybody in my group, they knew they know what's expected of a sergeant at arms, and we had a good session.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes you just have to go on the fly. So I do apologize for the tech, but glad everybody rebounded.
Yep. I had a great group in my breakout room, so I have no complaints.
By and large, we're pretty decent people.
I know. And that's one thing I love about Toastmasters. We're adaptable.
True.
So, but I just wanted to let you know what happened. So, if you want to get the recording from my computer, I'll be happy to meet up with you sometime later on. But there's some 2 gaps in there where I just completely lost connection.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. I don't know. We're gonna have to figure something out on that. Make
All right.
sure people get, well, clearly everybody here is gonna get credit, but on the recording side, I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Tap me to be Sergeant at Arms presenter for the next in-person TLI.
Yeah.
I will most happily do that.
I think that one's gonna come in the summer.
Yeah.
We are back. Or I'm back.
All right. Well, we've got 20 seconds for all the rooms to just close up, and it looks like people are coming back in. Before we break, Virginia, I'm gonna find the sign-up sheet again.
That would be great.
And also we could go and make a copy of, or at least or I guess a copy of the participants that are listed. That's another way to do it. And if you guys have been here and you find out a month from now that
Want me over
when
here
you
or
look
no?
at your dashboard, if you look at your dashboard and you find you don't have club credit for being here, then definitely give us a call. And if you have anyone who couldn't make it and they want credit, they're going to have to work for it. They're going to have to write an essay that demonstrates they know what they're doing and that they learned the things that you guys have learned for being here. But we're willing to give people credit if they're going to put the work into making sure they're going to know what they're doing. So we're happy to do so. So
Mark-
let me know. Mhm.
Maury, you said call us. Who's us?
Oh, Yi Ting is the program quality director. So she's number 2 in the district.
Right.
And so she's the one who actually is responsible for making sure that the people are credited. So that's why we want to make sure we've got everything signed out. So if she has a list of people to credit, yes, they went there and they did what was required to get the credit.
Okay.
So in the end, she does that. I am the education program manager for the district. So my job is to support her. And so you can also get in touch with me if you find that you haven't gotten your credit. We'll make sure you get the credit you need.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. What is the DCP requirement for officers trained?
For officers trained, you have to have 4 offices. You can be an officer who has 2 offices. Like I'm a VP I'm a sergeant at arms, but I'm teaching VPM. Even if I'd never been to another training, because I was here, I get credit for sergeant at arms. But if I was VPM and sergeant at arms, we get 2 credits already.
So
You
it's
need 4. You need 4 for a club to get the
offices,
credit.
not officers.
Office says, yes.
Okay.
So that's how it works. So if
Okay.
you represent several
Thank you
offices,
for-
you get credit for all of those offices.
Thank you for clearing that up for me, Bart.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone, I'll do this midstream here, but there is the Google Doc. We've got 70 people that have signed up for this, so we've only got 72 in the room right now. But so it looks like everybody's there. But if you have not signed up for attendance tonight, please click on that Google link that I dropped in, find a blank row, and register yourself, please, so that you get attendance. We've got
Don't just
17
assume because we
rows.
see you. Yeah, just because we see you does not mean that you'll get credit. So you need
Yeah.
to make sure you're on that list. And if you need to reach me, as you'll see my name here, Bart Loser, if you put Toastmaster, TM in front of it, tmbartloser@gmail, that's my Toastmasters email. So if you need to reach me for anything, I'm happy to talk to you about that through the email. And then we can talk by phone too. So go ahead, Chris.
Thank you so much, Bart.
Mhm.
Chris,
Virginia.
I'm not able to minimize my screen because since I was one of the first, since we were one of the first groups that came back to the main session, it's still on the recording that I have.
Meaning your breakout room is still visible?
Meaning that the breakout when I began recording in the breakout room and came back to the main session, it's automatically recording.
It should,
you want me to end it?
you can end yours.